I'm Chuck Duddingston. I'm a former board chair of the American Craft Council, and I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have always appreciated craft, and years ago, a dear friend of mine called me and said that the American Craft Council was moving to Minneapolis in 2010, and she was going to get her dream job there. And she said, you should probably come and get involved. They're a great organization. So I started attending events and moved on to a finance committee as a non-board member. And then as we move forward, I ended up on the board for many years, and then as a board chair. I think I joined the board in 2014, and I became the board chair, I think, in 2019 until October of 21. I hate to make this boring, but it really is. I have a financial background. In my day job, I advise families all over the country on their financial affairs. And that's really what got me hooked on the council, was the financial piece, looking at what they were doing and how things were working. I obviously appreciated craft before that, and the exposure that I think that the business side pulled me in created more appreciation, and God help me, more collecting. It's something that I've had a finger in for some time. Back, I lived in New Mexico for 5 years, and in that time, many of my good friends were makers of native jewelry, and I spent a lot of time on the square in Santa Fe with friends, and it was a big piece of me then that I think as I move forward, I might have gotten away from, and this kind of reminded me of it again. Kind of the business piece of it kind of pulled me back into that world, let me say, and I'm really glad it did. I think my wife would say that it started with a collection of coffee cups, and she continues to harangue me for my continual collecting of those, threatening to build a separate cabinet in the kitchen just for them because we have so many of them now. And again, she's tied to the jewelry piece as well. The council has a lot of jewelers, and they do such wonderful work. It's just, it's amazing, and you want to have it be part of you. The hand piece means so much. And knowing the makers, that's another. I think that the better you get to know the makers, the more you want to have their work around, because you think of them every time you use them or wear them. The differences between the work, not everything is the same. Not everything has come off of a conveyor belt. What you find has imperfections in it, kind of like life itself. It's a piece of you that isn't perfect, and I think that always appealed to me when it comes to handcraft. We have a local artist here in Minneapolis. His name is Leon Husha, and I've been lucky enough to know Leon for a while. On the periphery, I'm good friends of his, so I've been in his studio, and Leon has a Ukrainian background. This holiday season, there was an opening of his work at the Russian Museum here in Minneapolis. This most recent work that he's done with the issues that we're seeing in Ukraine were particularly poignant and thought-provoking. He does some amazing work, and you can tell this work has his heart. And it was great to be a part of that. So that was particularly moving for me. Maybe it was part of the holiday season as well. Something that's always going to mean something to me is what Sarah Schultz and I went through during the pandemic with an organization whose platform for our makers and whose support for our budget came from our shows. And during the pandemic, we could have no shows. It was, to say the least, a challenging time for us. We ended up having to cut budgets, make adjustments. I felt like it was a great accomplishment that we got through it without burning up our reserves. But it was an accomplishment that had another edge to it as well. It's really a two-edged sword. And then in order to accomplish what we did, we had to cut. And some of those cuts were crushing. We had an amazing show team, which without a show, you can't do anything with. We had a show manager with decades of work, an incredibly talented woman, and we had no job for her anymore. And those were very, very difficult times. Maybe that's why they stay with me so much, but I feel proud that we did get the organization through that era successfully, still with the ability to move forward and continue with leadership. There's a real satisfaction that I feel when I see young makers succeed. It takes a lot for a new craftsperson to commit to take their work and show it and hope someone will buy it. It's not easy, it's not convenient to pack up your work and go somewhere. We had a program when I was there where new makers could take space together, so it was less expensive. And I think there was some camaraderie that made everyone feel better together. And to me, it was a great accomplishment to see those makers graduate to their own space over time and become successful display artists at the shows. So that meant a lot to me. I feel like the council needs to be the conduit for continuing on the conversation and the experience of craft, whether it's through the magazine, whether it's through the show, whether it's through the council website, whether it's through makers' websites. And if the council can help build a website for a maker or is involved in furthering the thought leadership of craft in the world today, that's where it needs to be. Craft needs to be accessible, and without that, no new bodies come in to be makers. I'm hoping that all the makers out there are mentoring, that they're bringing someone new along with them, someone that's watched or someone that is close by as they're doing their work. That's going to mean a lot, and I'm hoping that the council plays a big role in encouraging that. Going forward, I think is going to be kind of a rocky road. We have a generation coming up that I feel like really needs to be encouraged to be involved in craft. I don't think they're naturally attuned to hand making. Obviously, and I'm speaking in broad brushes here, there are obviously young people coming up that do enjoy handwork, but I don't think you know it sometimes until you experience it. And I hope that the council is a big part of that and making that experience a little more available for new makers.